I started working on the promotional materials that are going to go with the mass market production of the Look For Me, I Will Find You book series. I'm not really sure whether I'm going to have a company make the slipcase or if I'm going to try to manufacture it myself. I have the technology here to make the die cut, or the die to go on the die cut machine that I have, to stamp out the cardboard and to score it and fold it. It's a lot of labor, so I may not do it. I may just hire somebody to do that. But I'm in the process now of designing what that slipcase is going to look like. And basically, it's just a cardboard box that the 4 books can go into, and you can read the spines of the books. And then it has some marketing stuff on the outside of the box, pictures and graphics and things to tell you what's in the set. And what I'm planning to do is put the 4 books in the slipcase, and then add the patch that I'm having made, and then shrink wrap the whole thing. I've got a shrink wrap machine, so I'll do all that myself. And the patch is being designed right now. We've worked on the art and gone back and forth between me and the artist a number of times. And what I was looking for with the patch is elements on a single patch that will represent each of the 4 books. And the 4 books have photographs that represent a portion of the story. The first book, Look For Me, has a picture of the cemetery where Wallace goes to shoot himself on October 24, 2008, where Laurie comes and interrupts him, and then the friendship ensues, and the story unfolds from that. So that's really the cover of book 1, representing the fact that that book is the setup for the story. Book 2 has a picture of a rushing brook with a lot of green plants around, and that kind of represents the Irish connection, the plush green scenery, and the brook that you see in several of the books as the children play. Book 3 has a photograph of lightning, and this represents some of the turmoil, some of the problems that take place as the story unfolds. And then book 4 has a photograph of a really beautiful rainbow, which kind of signifies that it all comes together in the end and everything is good. Now, obviously, being a photographer, I took the pictures for each of the books, and the photograph for book 1 is taken, the cemetery picture is taken at the cemetery where the story takes place, the same cemetery where the discussion took place that gave rise to the premise for the story. And if you look real closely on the book cover, you can see the stump where Wallace leaned against, or the stump he leaned against when he was about to shoot himself. The second photograph is taken in a location that I won't disclose because it's so beautiful I don't want people to know about it. But it's a very strange place because as you get down into this creek, there's a 16-foot waterfall. I mean, you can call it a creek or a brook or stream, whatever you want, but there's a 16-foot waterfall, and it's kind of cascades. There's several different levels, so as the water comes through it, it's just fabulous, just an incredible sight. The first photograph, the one of the cemetery, was obviously taken at Canyon Lake, which is the setting for the first story. The second cover, I won't tell you where it was taken, because I don't want people to find it. I don't want people to go look at it, because when they do, they'll spoil it. Right now, it's pristine. The third book, which has lightning, in the preliminary runs of the books, I used a lightning photo that I took in Colorado. Now, that was really appropriate because there's an event in Colorado in the book. So I like that. And I like the lightning. Lightning's hard to photograph, but I was able to catch it just right. And so it's a nice bolt of lightning. But from the time I took the picture for the third book and getting to the point where we're going to do the mass market production run, I took another lightning picture, and it's better. I like it better because it has these boiling clouds where you can see there's just churning and turmoil in the sky, and it's black, a black boiling sky. And then this lightning bolt comes down and strikes the ground. So it's really terrific. Now, that picture was taken at Canyon Lake in Texas. The fourth book, Everything to Me, has this incredible rainbow on it. And that's a picture that I took in Colorado, in southern Colorado. My family, we like to go to Colorado to vacation when we can, and we were up there, and my wife and my daughter were in the town, and my other daughter was with me up in the mountains. I take that back. I take that back. My wife was down in the town, and my two daughters were with me up in the mountains. But my oldest daughter was down in the valley, and her name is Kelsey, and she took some pictures of rainbows, or that same rainbow that same day, that turned out really fantastic. But I was up on top of this hill with Christina, my youngest daughter, and this rainbow appeared, and it was unbelievable because we were standing on the top of this hill, and there's this valley and then a mountain in the distance, and that rainbow was between us and that mountain, and the mountains wasn't that far away. We're not talking huge mountains. The mountain wasn't that far away. I mean, it's something you could have walked to. It would have taken you, maybe an hour to walk over to that other mountain, and the rainbow was right between us and that mountain. And it was stretching from the ground on our left all the way up into the air and to the ground on our right. I mean, we could see the whole thing. And it was so brilliant and so alive. We were going to fall off the hill because it was so exciting. And I took my camera out and I was taking pictures. Now, the tragedy is you can't photograph an entire rainbow that's that close to you. It's impossible. You're too close. I mean, I had a regular lens on the camera. If I'd have had a fisheye lens, maybe I could have done it. But with the lens I had, there's no way I could photograph the entire rainbow in a single frame. But it was the whole distance. And then, when I was taking pictures, it turned into a double rainbow. Now, the second rainbow was really faint, and I tried to photograph it, but it just didn't record very much on the photo. You just can't hardly see it at all. But in person, when we were there, boy, you could see every band, and to see two sets of them, it was just unbelievable. And it was so bright. I don't think I've ever seen a rainbow that was that bright. Maybe it's because we were so close to it, and you see rainbows all the time, and they're always in the distance. I've never really seen one where you could just look and see where it touched the ground. They talk about the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Well, I could have marked the spot, and we could have been digging. So it was incredible. And so that's the picture that I put on the fourth book. All of the pictures, of course, have some meaning to me because the first one obviously is the cemetery where the idea came from. The second one is just a really incredible brook and waterfall that people don't know about. And the third one, lightning has always been fascinating to me because you've got so much energy, incredible amount of energy, either coming from the sky and touching the ground or jumping from the ground up into the sky. I mean, there's enough power in a lightning bolt to light houses. And as a photographer, when a lightning storm comes out, I run out and take pictures. As a matter of fact, that picture that I'm using on the mass market book, I went up on a 2-story tower and took that picture, and I was thinking while I was up there, I shouldn't be here. I mean, it was the wind was really kicking up, and the rain was on the way, and the clouds were churning, and the lightning was flashing everywhere, and I was thinking, I'm going to die. I'm up here like a lightning rod, and I'm going to get struck, and they're going to find me dead. I hope the picture's worth it. So I took pictures, and I was a little nervous about being where I was, but it's a typical deal, where the photographer, he's willing to just go to the edge. He doesn't really want to die, but just go to the edge to get the shot. And so anyway, I got that shot, and I came on down from there. But so that picture is very meaningful to me, and the rainbow too is just all of these things are just God's creations, such beauty, and the opportunity to photograph that stuff. I feel very blessed that I have the skill and the equipment to go out there and try to capture some of the natural things that occur around us. And it's something I've been doing my entire life. Literally hundreds of thousands of pictures have been taken. Maybe I think one of the reasons I write the books the way I do visually is because I am so visually oriented because of the photography. So anyway, the slipcase will have some graphics on the outside, and it'll have the books inside and the patch. I guess the patch will be on the back, or maybe it'll be on the top. I'm not sure. I want people to be able to see that there's a patch included in the product. And the reason I'm doing the patch is, A, nobody else does it, and B, I'm thinking, they can stick that patch on their shirt or a hat or a purse or any number of places. It'll be an iron-on patch, and it'll be a symbol that they can use to remember the story, and it'll kind of advertise too. People will ask about it, and they'll explain, oh yeah, this is a great set of books. So that's kind of the idea. Obviously there's more expense in doing something like that, but I think it's worth it. I think it's kind of a nice little token that people can carry around if they want to remember the books. The other thing that I'm working on is a poster that I'm going to use to promote the book set. And I, just as an aside, I'm reminded of Farrah Fawcett Majors. And I've always called her Farrah Fawcett Majors because that's when I paid attention to her, is when she was married. When her last name was Majors, Farrah Fawcett. I guess very first time I heard of her, she was Farrah Fawcett, but she wasn't all that famous then. She went to the University of Texas while I was going to Texas A&M. She's from Corpus Christi. At least that's the story. I mean, I didn't meet her or anything, but that's the story. People said, oh, yeah, she went to University of Texas. I mean, that may not even be true. But I'm reminded of what she did. A clever lady. First of all, she's just incredibly beautiful woman. But clever. Clever. She went out and she paid a photographer, as I recall, $1,000 to shoot some pictures of her because she wanted to do some kind of a promotional poster. And so out of her bank account, she wrote this guy a check for $1,000 to come and take pictures, and in exchange for the $1,000, she got entire rights to the photographs, which the photographer never should have done that, but he did. I guess he needed money, and so that's what they did. And that very famous picture you see of Farrah with her big smile on her face, and the T-shirt where she's showing through the T-shirt a little bit, and there's kind of a blanket in the background. That blanket was actually a seat cover off this photographer's car. I think somebody said he drove a Volkswagen, but I'm not sure. But anyway, they wanted a backdrop, so he went and got that blanket and hung it over a fence in her backyard so that they could do these photos. Well, she turned around and marketed that poster, and if my memory serves correctly, she only sold, now remember, she paid $1,000 to the photographer for the photo session and for the photos. That poster only sold 8 million copies. So kudos to Farrah, because she did a good job on that. And of course, back when she was a Charlie's Angel and on television and becoming a big star, every red-blooded American male had one of her posters on the wall. Well, I want to do a poster that will promote the Look For Me, I Will Find You series. And this, a poster, I'm working on it now. I found a picture today, something that I had in my inventory. And I started playing with it, and it just, when I looked at it, at first it didn't pop into my mind that this will make a good poster, but when I started playing with it, the design, the form, the composition to the photograph just blew me away. I thought, that makes a good poster. It'll print in a variety of sizes. It's very simple. It has a very graphic look to it. And what it is, it's a picture of Melanie. Melanie modeled for me since 2008, and I think I've said before that we've done approximately 27,000 photographs in the course of our work together. And so you can see, when you find one single picture out of that kind of inventory and it blows you away, that's a pretty special thing. So anyway, it's a picture of her with her hair all spread out, and she has her arms kind of not really folded, but they're bent, and she's got a nice smile on her face. And because of the way the hair is, and because of the way I tweaked the photograph, it has an interesting look. And when I say tweak the photograph, what I did is I got rid of the color and I brought in some new colors. At first I tried it in black and white, and I thought, that's pretty interesting, it has good composition. But I don't want to do a poster in black and white, so I started bringing colors back into this thing. And so I got this really dramatic poster looking thing. And I said, yeah. And so then I'm thinking, all right, look for me. I will find you. You can put those letters on there and whatever promotional stuff needs to go on it. And then I thought about Farrah. I said, Farrah, she sold 8 million posters. Why should I create a poster for the Look For Me series and give it away? Why don't I create a poster that has artistic value and in smaller print, but Look For Me, I Will Find You, and the book set's available for so much money, that sort of stuff. Put that in little print and let that poster carry itself, because it's so dramatic and so different and so interesting that it's the kind of thing people are going to want to put on their wall. And so the marketing message just needs to be really small and let the picture carry the thing. And so I think that's what I'm going to do. I had fun tweaking it, and it just got to a point where I said, wow, that's good. And of course, that's always fun when you have lots and lots of pictures to choose from, and something just hits you. I mean, this was one image out of many, many possibilities, but it's almost like you're digging around and then you see the diamond. You see, wow, this is not, and tons and tons of pictures that I have from these photo sessions are really fantastic pictures. But when you find one that is just the diamond, it's exciting. So that's going to be a promotional poster. And I think I'm going to use that picture too to tie various products together. I was even thinking about what would that picture look like if it was turned into a graphic and put on a t-shirt. One of the things I've been wanting to do is create his and her t-shirts. One says, look for me, and the other one says, I will find you. And when they're walking down the street together, it's the complete phrase. I've also been thinking, I need some kind of logo that ties those two together, and I haven't come up with that yet. I have some ideas, but nothing is really gelled. But eventually there will be various items that people can wear or carry around to represent the story. And that'll be good for advertising, and then plus I think it'll be good for the public because they get a kick out of stuff like that. So that's what I've been working on today, and feel like I made some good progress. There's no telling what direction this thing's going to take, and I'm kind of playing it, one step at a time. I've known for a while that I needed some marketing materials, but until I actually sat down today and came up with that picture and started playing with it, I didn't know for sure what I was going to do. But I mean, this is just ideal. It just really fits the whole project, and I'm tickled that I was able to find it, and just feel real fortunate that I have so many pictures to select from.